What's up, everybody? Welcome to After the Impact, and we are right back like we said we would be. Thank you to all who have come out and joined us for this. This is going to be a quick After the Impact because we'll talk about the show that we just watched, but then we're going to go right into predictions for the pay-per-view Against All Odds on Saturday, which we will be doing a watch-along for, by the way, so don't forget to join us for that. I believe we're starting, it starts at 8, so I guess we're going to be starting probably around 7:30, I'm guessing, Jeff, right?
Yeah.
So 7:30, we'll be here. I know that Tazzy will join us. Conrad, you're welcome, obviously, as always. I think Tazzy's going to join us around 9-ish. So, yeah. It's going to be a fun time. It's going to be a fun weekend. We will have both pay-per-views this coming weekend. But tonight, we are talking all about Impact. Thomas says, what's up? Insiders, what's going on with you guys? As we do always start out, so the folks who came back with us, give us your scores of tonight's show. Let us know what you score the go-home show. We will do the same starting off the show here. Yeah, so we'll go from there. So give us your scores. Tell us what you thought of Impact tonight, what you thought of the go-home show. Hit that like button if you're hyped for AAO. Yes, Against All Odds. Again, couldn't have this last year because of COVID. So, yes, throw up a like if you have not done so on the video already. That would be awesome. Make sure you do that. Perfect 10 says Will Jacks. Azan says 8 out of 10. Good shit. This is good shit. As Vinnie Mac would say, I don't get to do that as often anymore. I miss it. All right, so let me start. Jeff, what did you think of the go-home show tonight? Impact usually always seems to produce a pretty good go-home show. What did you think?
Yeah, I'm gonna give it a. I'm going back and forth between like an 8.75 and a 9. I think I'll be generous and say 9. I thought it was a really good show. I mean, heck of a way to kick it off with that summit, which I thought was really good. Sometimes those things can be cringe, but this wasn't. And it set up for not only it set up for Saturday, but also for Slammiversary. So, listen, we're already hyped for Against All Odds. That made it even more, must watch. And now I'm looking forward to seeing who Sammy's going to take on at Slammiversary, which I'll go ahead and say this. Given our behind-the-scenes discussion after the watch-along, some things may surprise some folks, and I'll just leave it at that.
Yeah, we had a little bit of talking going on when we were waiting to switch over, so yes, we definitely did. Perfect 10 says Will Jacks. Cheese Whiz says 8 out of 10. Sean Rousset says 9 out of 10. The Coug says a 9 out of 10 solid go-home show. The opening segment with Tony K, Scott, and Don was great. 9 out of fucking 10 says J-Hub. Yes, we are in non-PG territory. Willie Mack went night-night. He did. Yes, we kind of expected that. Like Jeff said, some things are just, always going to happen. Conrad, what did you think of Impact tonight, man?
I'm going to agree with Azan and Cheese Whiz and go with a solid 8 out of 10. I think everything made sense, but there are some questioning things, and it's more so probably my brain that's going to be happening with this pay-per-view coming up on Saturday. My mind is like scattered as what could happen, and there are so many options, but we'll talk about that later.
All right. Fair enough. I'm going to say 8.5. I'm going to say 8.5. I love the opening match on BTI actually with the K. I didn't get to see the whole thing with Crazy Steve, obviously, but I like how, of course, how that ended. The Rosemary and Havoc thing really surprised me. I did not see the result of that coming. I thought for sure that Havoc was going to win that and end up getting into that match. The fact that it's going to be Rosemary and Deonna, but now she's got an ally. At least what looks to be like she's got an ally. So you never know, but it looks as if she might have somebody who might, kind of help her out if things get out of hand with Kimber and Susan. So that was interesting. And then, the Summit. I didn't get to see the Summit on the show, but I listened to the whole thing. Some surprising things to me there. Now, not so much that surprising in the fact that I kind of thought they would make it a triple threat. I really did. So that didn't happen. And also, the whole announcement that it's going to take place at Daly's place was a shocker to me, too, because I did not see that coming either. So some definite things that were surprises to me, and that's always an entertaining thing. When wrestling can surprise you and you didn't see it coming, that's good stuff. So, 8.75. I thought it was good. 9 out of 10. We didn't get Swingers Palace. Now, see, that may have kept me from giving it a 9, James, because I love me some Swingers Palace. I love it. The Coug says my 2 big questions. Will Daly's place have a full crowd for Kenny and Moose? Who will be commentating the match if they bring back Morrow? Wow. I don't think so. I don't think they'll have a full crowd there. It might be empty. It might be an empty arena, similar to how Impact is having theirs. So, no, I don't think so. I don't think there'll be a crowd there. As far as commentating, I'm guessing the commentators that are doing Against All Odds will be the ones that will be commentating the match. So, Azan said it was taped with no fans. Well, there you go. Oh, Azan, you're spoiling all of it. Azan, it was taped last week. Now, see, now you know what you're going to do here. Now you're going to make people go and look for the results. Let the magic happen, Azan.
They're not out there.
Don't ruin the magic. Havoc and Rosemary might go after the Knockouts team titles. Yeah, I would be all for that. Even I miss Swingers Palace. We'll see. There you go, James. There you go. What were your highlights of the night, guys? I told you a couple of mine. Like I said, I love the fact that Rosemary won clean, and then Havoc came out and kind of helped her clean house a little later on. And, of course, the Summit, like I said, had some surprises for me, too. Morrissey looks incredible. Absolutely incredible. An unstoppable force out there for sure. So what were some of your highlights? I'll start with Conrad this time. Conrad, what was just give me a couple of quick highlights of yours from the show tonight.
Darn it. I'm gonna go with I was really looking forward to Willie Mack and W. Morrissey. I think we all knew the result, but I still wanted to see it. Yeah. And I gotta go with that Impact Summit, man. The AEW, I don't know what it was called, that hybrid summit. That really changed the game. Like, I thought going in, this could just when Tony Khan's going to be in it, you don't know if this is going to be some silly comedy stuff or if this is going to be something goofy. And I thought this was just going to lead to like Don Callis, you're fired from Impact Wrestling.
That's what I thought was yeah.
That's where I thought it could have went, and they went, "Oh, you think you got it? Swoop, we're going this way." Yep. So you don't know what we're going to do. I thought it was very well done. And I don't know what's up with Tony Khan's hair, but he looks like he should be singing with Prince in the Revolution. I don't know what's going on with that. Like, his hair was looking weird in that, like, straight out of the 80s.
Yes.
But those are my favorite things.
Okay. Jeff, what about you, man?
Man, for me, one of the highlights for me was the Macklin video package.
Oh yeah, that's right. I didn't even forgot. Yeah.
That was so well done.
It's a very intense promo. Yeah,
very intense. And then I'm gonna go with another promo, and folks are gonna think I'm crazy. Brian Myers and Sam Beal. Like, it was so funny.
Yeah,
that's ridiculous. But in that promo that Sam Beal cut, he's talking about Cardona, and he mentions his hot fiance. So, just saying, if you're looking for seeds to be planted, Sam Beal, the most unlikely person to plant any seeds of anything that's going to happen in the future, might have just planted some seeds there. Could we see a return of the hot mess in Impact? I think so.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. Yeah, well, the time is coming up. It's not that far away, July, so we will see. We could see, we saw a lot of new people coming in for Slammiversary, so we will see. We shall see. Let's see. AEW or Impact keep their stuff top secret, said Azan. And I'm sure you've looked, haven't you? You've looked, haven't you? Will Jack says Rosemary and Havoc are best buds, and Willie Mack went night-night. They were your highlights. If Kenny wins, it has to be a screwy finish. Moose can't afford a clean loss. Well, DJ, if he's leaving, it doesn't really matter, I guess, at that point. Morrissey Mack was a banger. Was that, Jeff?
I have some thoughts on that.
Okay. Morrissey Mack was a banger. Havoc Rosemary was great. The AEW Impact Summit set the tone for the show. A big curveball to the fans. It was. I can see a shock happening at Against All Odds by Dawn turning on Kenny and aligning with Moose. New Impact World Champ. Ooh. That's interesting. Oh, look at Jeff's throwing away Jeff's pulling a riddle. Where's Randy Orton? Randy Orton took Jeff's key. Shock, says James Chadwick. That certainly would be a shocker. Yeah. I have a strange feeling that Sammy is going to screw Moose over at Daly's place. Well, he can't really be there, can he? Well, I mean, that gimmick he has, he does appear and disappear wherever he kind of wants to. So, yeah, okay. Chelsea Green said Hot Mess was back on Twitter. Ooh, well, there you go. The wrestling world is always changing, man. It's always changing. And this is, look, it's a fun time of the year to be, like I said, to be a wrestling fan, to be an Impact fan, because, you have this show coming up and then you have their biggest pay-per-view of the year coming up. And with all those people who left other companies, that's, where they end up. Yeah, they end up making some deals and bringing some people in. So it's fun, man. James Shadow says, Jeff, am I in your head again? Says James. A little bit. Oh, man. All right. Well, there you go. So that puts a cap on the Go Home show. And we are going to segue right over into our predictions for Against All Odds, which, by the way, is one of my favorite ballads from the 1980s with Phil Collins. So, yes, Against All Odds pay-per-view this Saturday night. We will be starting the watch-along for that at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time. So make sure you are right back here with us again for that. So let's get started, Jeff. There it is, Saturday, June 12th. You could see the first match we've got up here. This almost happened tonight. We got a preview. It's Kojima and the big man, Joe Doring. These guys have history. And I can't wait personally to see this one. I think this is going to be a great match between these guys. They're going to put on the show. So, Jeff, who do you think wins between Kojima and Doring?
I've got Kojima.
Okay.
I've got Kojima. That may be a little bit against the grain, but I just think I don't think they brought him in to lose to Joe. While it may look like they're halting Joe's momentum just a little bit, I just have Kojima. I mean, he's legendary, and I think it'd be really cool to see him pick up the win here in the States, and to have the fans here get to see him in action against someone who he has history with.
Yeah, good point. I mean, remember, we've seen these, the other people come in from New Japan, and they all did pretty well for themselves right off the bat. So, yeah, I would kind of tend to agree with you. I think Kojima is going to win this one as well. People in the chat are saying the same thing. James Chadwick said it has to be Kojima. Kojima will win. Doring will go night-night. Will Jax just wants to see a lot of people sleep. Conrad, what do you think? The big man, Joe Doring, or Kojima?
I'm going to be a little different here. I think that we're going to get Joe Doring picking up the victory here. We got to give a win, I think, to No Country for Old Men. You got to have a reason to be scared of this guy, and I think this is a good reminder. Kojima's not hurt by this. His legacy is set in stone, in my opinion, already. But I think he could stick around if he wanted to, even if he takes the L. I think this is just a nice beginning relationship with a lot of these companies, and I think you don't need to have like a warfare come from all of this. I think slow building, bring someone in for a match, cool, you put him out, and he can get his win back against someone else. I think on maybe the next episode of Impact for the next tapings if he's still going to be around.
Okay, yeah, good point. Very good point. Yeah, and again, if he's here trying to put Doring over a little bit, and like Conrad said, getting him to people be afraid of the guy a little bit more. Not that people wouldn't be already. The guy's a monster, but yeah, it certainly would be a big step for him if he would get over against Kojima. So okay, all right. Well, we're split there with 2-1. Let's move on, Jeff. What is next?
Yeah, what closed out the show?
Gosh. Oh my gosh. This one's going to be a banger. I think this is really going to be a great match. Everything we've seen Rich Swann in usually is. And I think this will kind of be no different. Think about this as him going up against Moose. It's kind of a similar story, I think, that they're trying to tell. Rich always seems to get in there with guys that are just way bigger than he is and kind of have to, he gets beat up quite a bit, but he's very, very resilient. And then he comes out, just out of nowhere and ends up coming out on top at the end. I'm going to say, though, with this one, I think they're really building Morrissey into a monster. And I think that's going to continue here. I think Rich is going to, he's going to put up a good fight. I think he will do the same thing that he did against Moose. I think he will kind of prove to be, very resilient in this match. But I think it's Morrissey that's going to come out on top. I think they're really going to push him now and kind of set him out there. Where they wanted to go, I'm not too sure right now, but I think Morrissey comes out on top in this one. So, Conrad, go ahead. Who do you think is winning this one?
This is tough. This is a tough one because on one hand, you have Rich Swann, who is the Impact Wrestling guy. But I'm wondering now, how long is Morrissey going to stay around for?
Yeah.
Is he just working date to date? Is he going to be around for Slammiversary? I would like to think so. So with that, I'm going to go with the prediction that Morrissey's going to stick around. You got to keep him looking strong for whatever you're building him up for. So I say give him the victory here. Rich Swann is on the downslope right now. It's hard to get that recovery period after you lose the World Heavyweight Championship sometimes. And I think maybe you go back to him and Willie Mack as a tag team. Tag division could always use some love, and I love those two as a tag team. So we'll see.
There you go. Okay. All right. So 2 for Morrissey so far. Jeff, what are you thinking?
I mean, I'm just going to go ahead and make it 3. I mean, in terms of Rich Swann, I mean, he's got the championship loss hangover at this moment. And, honestly, for me, what they're doing with Morrissey, whether he sticks around, past Slammiversary is to, we'll see if that happens or not. But I think this could serve as a good reset for Rich. I think it could be a defining moment for Morrissey. And I mean, where do you go for both of these guys after this is what I'm thinking about. And I think seeing Morrissey kind of creeping in, he's not there yet, but do you eventually have him chasing someone for a title? Is that why they're trying to build him up right now to make him seem like he's a legitimate enough threat for a title? So I've got Morrissey in this one. I think it's going to be a tough night at the office for Rich Swann. But hey, honestly, Rich Swann might be the cure to Willie Mack Z's, because maybe they can be like Conrad said, a tag team again, and maybe that will prevent Willie Mack from going to sleep as much as he has been. I mean, he's at this point, Willie Mack is narcoleptic. I mean, we got to do something to get him some no-dos, and I think Rich Swann might be that guy. So
yeah, let's break him out of that funk. Absolutely. Let's see what the chat's saying. Rich Swann will go sleepy by. Morrissey will win for sure. Swann's going to eat a pin, says Legendary Buchanan. Tough call. Swann needs a win, especially after losing the title. I should say Morrissey, but I'm going Rich, going against the grain a bit, says the Coug. All right. Wally says I'm back. Hello, Wally. Let's see. Is Swann going to eat another loss, or will they let the new guy go over, says DJ Joseph. The Long Island Giant is winning, says Azan. Morrissey wins. Mac attacks Morrissey with Swann. Then Enzo comes out to help Morrissey.
oh boy.
You just thought the same thing, Jeff?
Yep.
Tag team match.
Yep.
Enzo can eat the pinfalls.
Yep.
It works.
It works.
All right. Okay. Well, there you go. I'm down. That would be awesome. Is Morrissey the forbidden door to an Enzo mainstream return, says DJ Joseph. Maybe so. I mean, look, he's been in Talking Shop. Like I said, he's been associated with these guys. So he's been on both of them. And so wouldn't shock me. Wouldn't shock me at all. All right. What's next, man?
Oh, this is going to be crazy.
Oh,
Number one contenders exhibition match.
My poor voice. And you know they're going to start the match with it. They're going to start off the show with this. I'd almost guarantee it. I'd almost guarantee it just from the past things that happened. Yeah, the number one contenders for Josh Alexander's title, Petey Williams, Trey Miguel, Ace Austin, Chris Bay, and Rohit. Oh man, yeah, Gus. Yeah, this is not a long stream. We're just gonna do our predictions. We won't stick around that long after that. So, but oh man, this almost needs to be like I could tell you who I'd love to see win and who I think will win. So, who I'd love to see win this, I'd love to see Rohit win it. I really would, because Josh is like the ultimate baby face. And he needs an ultimate heel to go after him. And I think him and Rohit would be a pretty good matchup. Who do I think will win? I'm going to go with Chris Bay. I'm going to go with Chris Bay. Just because I think that, again, you know, Josh is pretty much established, I think, as a baby face here. And I think Chris has kind of played a heelish kind of character. And I think it would be, I mean, Ace Austin, of course, too, is a heel. So he could. But I think Ace has been involved with that for a while now. And I think that they might step him away. He's maybe a little bit of a too obvious choice, I think. But I think Chris Bay is going to win it. But I'd love to see Rohit come out of it as a surprise. So, Jeff, what are you thinking?
Yeah, I'm going off the grid here. I'm going Petey Williams.
Oh, okay.
I'm going Petey because, listen, he came back in large part to help out Josh.
Yeah.
And Josh, he said that Josh promised him a title shot. I'd love to see these two guys going after it, you know, Canadian versus Canadian. And see where they go. And I honestly feel like this is an opportunity for someone to put Josh over even more. And I mean, who knows? In 3 to 6 months' time, maybe we're seeing Josh in a bigger storyline. I think this might go a long way in establishing that. So I've got Petey in this one.
Okay, all right, interesting choice. The chat is saying, I think we get a King of a Mountain match for X Division, and they see Petey or Bay winning. Ace Austin says Legendary Buchanan. I'm going for Trey, says James Chadwick. Will Jackson, I believe, to say Ace Austin, Chris Bay, or Rohit. What do you think, Conrad? Who wins?
You two definitely picked the two that I've narrowed it down to in my mind. Rohit was the first one that I canceled off. It's not his time right now. Then Ace Austin was the next one I canceled. Same reasons you guys brought up. And then Trey Miguel, I don't know what he's doing. I feel like he's just there for a lot of times. Like, you want to see him win, but you're like, they're not going with him. So then it's Chris Bay or Petey Williams. And now Petey, when Jeff said that, my mind was going crazy too, because I'm like, you could do a lot of different things with Petey and all those little Maple Leaf Muscle videos. And if he wanted to just flat out just turn, he could go and put that on and people would love it instantly. And Scott Steiner's not going to care or say nothing to him. But I think for the safe money and for better matches for right now, because I think you can hold off on the Petey thing. I'm going to go with Chris Bay for right now. But I do think eventually we will see Petey and Josh go at it, whether it's as friends or a heel turn involved.
Okay. All right. So we've got two Chris Bays, and we got Jeff going out with Petey Williams, going with Petey. So, all right. All right, what's next?
Oh, man. Tag team championship.
This one is – this is going to be a great match. I mean, Taurus and Rhino in the ring together. This is going to be a great match. It's kind – I mean, when you look at it, it looks like a very even match. It really does. Is it Violent by Design's time to lose that belt already? They haven't had it for very long. So, all right, go ahead. We'll start with Conrad. What do you think, man? Who wins? Do we get new champions?
And still, I'm going to start off with, I think Violent by Design needs this victory. I see Crazy Steve, unfortunately, as the one who's going to have to eat the pin here. And yeah, I love the Decay, but I don't think it's not the time. It's not the time.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
And Violent by Design needs to stay strong.
Yep, fair enough. Okay. What do you think, Jeff?
You're only as strong as your weakest link. And as a group, I think it's been proven to us a couple times that Diener might very well be the weakest link in the group. I brought up liking that Macklin promo earlier because to me it read like a Violent by Design audition tape. What better way to strengthen Violent by Design than cutting the weakest link? And I think Diener may cost his team the titles, and I think that's what we'll see. I think he's going to eat the pin. I think we get new champions in this. I think as soon as that happens, we see Diener with his tail tucked between his legs getting kicked out of Violent by Design. And I think Macklin will be welcomed with open arms. And I think we start to see a resurgence of momentum for Violent by Design going forward.
Yeah. You know what? I think Decay is going to win. And I've talked about this a little bit before, but this will be part of a theme for me anyway going forward. But I think Decay is going to win this. And much to the reasons that Jeff said, we're getting little hints here and there about them not being all that confident in Diener at this point. And like Jeff said, he does seem like he's the weak link in that team. And if he does lose, it's not going to take anything away from Rhino, because if they lose, it's going to be him that takes the pin. And then what are they going to do? You know, like Jeff said, then are they going to beat the crap out of him? And then that's the end of it. And then they're just going to boot him from the group. Hey, you're costing us too much. It's time for you to go. But I think Decay wins. I think Diener will take the pin. I think they will be the champs. And I think there is more in store for Decay later in this pay-per-view. So this one could go either way, says Conrad in the chat. Conrad's in the chat. Conrad's in the stream. Jesse's back. Hey, Jesse. Azan says, Mr. Mayhem, part of Violence by Design. Book it. It's going to be a banger either way, says James Chadwick. Yeah, this should be a great match. Eric says Decay. This is going to be a good match. Yeah, so all right, well, what is next? Will Jack says Decay will beat Violence by Design. We'll see. And new tag champs. Next up, this is going to be Tazzy's favorite match. Let's hope he gets to see it. Fire and Flava against Kimberly and Susan. This is for the titles as well. The Knockouts titles are on the line. So, man, I'm not going to say that Fire and Flavor are on a roll. And I'm not going to say that they're going to lose in this one. I just don't see it happening. Now, this one could be weird too, because depending on the order of these matches, now I would think that this one will come before the Knockouts title. But if it would happen to be the other way, you can kind of almost see maybe Havoc and Rosemary could cost Kimber and Susan this match. But I don't know. I don't think that it'll happen that way. I don't think it'll go down in that order. But I can't see Fire and Flavor losing. And maybe we get a rift between Kimber and Susan in this match. And maybe we keep getting more signs of Susan changing to that other persona that we'd love to see, whether it be Susie or Su Yung. But yeah, I don't see Kimberly and Susan beating Fire and Flavor here. I just don't. I think it's they're going to be the champs until somebody else comes up and proves that they can knock them off. So Jeff, go ahead. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's going to take something a little iconic to defeat Fire and Flavor. See what I did there?
Oh, nice.
Honestly, I think. Let me just get this out of the way. I think Fire and Flavor are going to retain. But at some point, Su Yung has to wake up. Because it just doesn't make any sense that Susan has aligned herself with the two people that are responsible for Su Yung going away. How does that play out? I think we get a loss. I think Susan probably takes the pin, and Kimber, being pissed off at the end of it, is like, I can't believe you cost us. This was a great opportunity. You did this to us. We should have just gotten rid of you all together. And flip of the switch, I think we see Su Yung.
All right. Nobody would be unhappy about that. Go ahead, Conrad. What are you thinking?
Jeff took the words right from my mouth. I think Fire and Flavor are getting the win here. Throw up the peach emojis for B Tazzy. And yeah, I think Susan is going to definitely eat the pin in this match. Like, that was the first thing I thought of when I saw this. I'm so mad that Will Jack's Effect already had it up. But yeah, Susan's got to take the pen here. The question is, when does Susan finally get that big match against Deonna? That's where this has to lead to. But when, and will Deonna still be the champion by the time it's ready to build that storyline to its climax?
Yeah, great point. Great point. All right, what's next?
Let's see what's next. Oh boy, Joe.
Oh my goodness.
Joe.
Oh man, I'm fired up. This is the second time now I will have seen her go for that title. Both times it's been against Deonna. It didn't work out so well for her last time. I'm going out on a limb and saying it will change this time. I think Rosemary wins this. And I just think that the signs that you're seeing, Deonna's held that belt for a long time, and she's been on top of the world. She was voted their top wrestler of the year. She carries that title, and very tough to think of anybody taking that off of her. But I think the signs are there. The fact that she has now beaten her by herself twice, used her finisher on her twice, I think it kind of says something. I also think that the fact that, and then what convinced me also was the fact that Havoc didn't get put in this match. Had Havoc been thrown into this match, I would have said, no way. There's no way that she'd win, and Deonna would come out of it, because, that there's just, there would have been shenanigans. There would have been something that would have happened that would have prevented her from winning. But I think she's going to win this. Now, could there be shenanigans that help Deonna? Sure. But I think that Havoc now being kind of aligned with Rosemary will maybe even the score. and maybe she'll end up helping her win. And whether she joins up with Decay, Havoc does, or whether that ends up being a future match between Havoc and Rosemary for that title. But I think Rosemary shocks the world here, and I think she wins that title. Conrad, go ahead. What are you thinking?
I'm going opposite. I think you continue rocking with the Virtuosa. I think she's doing good business for Impact right now. And I have a feeling, I don't know who's got the record for longest women's champion. Is it still Taya?
Yes.
I think she might break it.
Okay.
I think she might break it. And then Impact can say, we've got the best women's wrestlers. So, I feel like there could be some pot shots coming from some remarks made today on a conference call.
Yes. We discussed that conference call a little bit earlier. Yeah, that's gonna Thunder Rosa already commented on it, so that's gonna get some shots fired for sure. All right, Jeff, what do you think?
You see, I'm all about building this thing for the future. Like I'm all about seeing what happens at Slammiversary. I'm just gonna go ahead and say I think, unfortunately, Joe, I'm sorry, I've got Deonna retaining, and after Deonna retains, she can simply be like, "Who is there left? Who's left for me?" We've already seen this teased on Twitter. She wants the hot mess. I want to see her in the hot mess in the squared circle. So I think that's what we get. I think we're going to have an open challenge at Slammiversary. And I think the hot mess is going to show up at Slammiversary to be the challenger for Deonna. And that's what I think happens. But I've got Deonna retaining. That's
okay. All right. Great matchup. This will be a hard-hitting match. As much as I want Rosemary, Deonna will retain. Part of the decision is because of the Triple Mania event in August where she defends her title. Let's see who else. Havoc turns heel and helps Deonna to be her bodyguard. Joe and Jeff and Conrad. Havoc joins Deonna. Rosemary wins, says Maj. Kimber turns on Deonna. Will Jack says, I agree, James. Rosemary for the win. James says Rosemary. Kind of split. Will Jack says Rosemary. Let's see. Taylor Wilde. Yeah, let's not forget about Taylor. Taylor is somewhere. We don't know where, but depending on who took her out, she could end up. Was it Deonna? We don't know. But yeah, let's not forget about her as well. She could be put in that title picture right away too. Rosemary wins the title. Black Taurus and Crazy Steve win the tag team. That would be cool because then Decay would rule. They'd have all those. They'd have all the gold. Taylor Wilde still owes her a match. So all right. Well, I think we got one match to go.
Yeah, well, let's do this real quick. We do know that we had the Good Brothers and versus
Tommy.
Sami Callihan and Tommy.
Right. That's right. Yeah, that's right. We got that match that they made tonight. So the Good Brothers, Sammy and Tommy Dreamer. What's the stipulation for that? That's a
LDQ. It's a street fight.
Just a street fight. Okay. Man. All right. Go ahead. I'll let Conrad go with that one. Go ahead, man.
I don't know about the Good Brothers right now, man. They're in such a weird position because I want to see them anywhere but Impact, but at the same time, they're not doing anything either. Mm-hmm. They're just Kenny's henchmen at this point. Excuse me. I'm gonna just, damn it, I'm gonna take Tommy Dreamer and Sammy Callihan. That's it. Tommy's gonna do his ECW stuff. It's gonna be fine. It should work, but I feel like Sammy needs the victory more so than anything in this. He has to continue to look strong. Sammy's gonna pick up the pinfall. Okay.
Yeah, no, that's a great call. You know what? I'm going to agree. I think so too. I think that again, what really are the Good Brothers? They haven't been, they lost to Finjuice. They really haven't been anything but going around with Kenny. So yeah, I would agree. I think that Sammy kind of needs to look good, especially going into Slammiversary. And, we're going to get from Tommy Dreamer, we're going to get kendo sticks, we're going to get garbage cans, we're going to get the whole 9 yards, and I'm sure he's going to use it all. So, I'm going to go with Sammy and Tommy Dreamer in this as well. Jeff, what do you think?
Real quick, Sammy. Sammy and Tommy. I mean, right now, I don't like Conrad. I have no idea what in the world is going on with the Good Brothers, other than the fact that they're there with Kenny and whatever. I've got Sammy and Tommy. We got one other one, Tenille and Jordan Grace.
Oh yes, yeah, another match that they made tonight as well. Yep. Okay. James Chadwick says the Good Brothers are just Kenny's bitches. Tenille versus Grace also. Yeah, we're gonna do that one right now. Conrad, you are the man. I agree. Tommy can take a loss. Tommy is a legend. Sammy and Tommy will win, says Will Jacks. All right, so Tenille and Jordan Grace. Whew, man, I don't know. I keep wanting to see Jordan go that heel route, and losing to Tenille, I think, would lead to that. So I'm going to take Tenille. Maybe Caleb with a K interferes and helps her win. But I think that rabbit hole that we're seeing Jordan Grace kind of go down will continue. And I think that's going to lead her into becoming a heel. So I'm going to say Tenille wins that. Jeff, what do you think?
Yeah, but for different reasons.
Okay.
I think we've been looking at this all wrong. I think Rachel's the one that's going to turn heel.
Oh, okay.
So that's where I'm at. I think the seeds are planted because we're looking at something one way, but then the swerve is going to come and Rachel's going to be one to turn on Jordan. So, Tenille.
Okay. So are you saying she's going to cost her the match?
Yep.
That Rachel cost. Okay. All right. Interesting. Conrad, what do you think?
Jeff always says what I'm thinking. I've been thinking this too because I've been with you guys this whole ride. Like, yeah, man, they're probably right. Like, it's got to be Jordan Grace getting ready to turn heel. Big Mama Pump can't do this forever. But then, you know what I call that heel turn, Jeff? I'm just agreeing with Jeff on this. So, but Tenille's getting the dub, so that trifecta. But I always call this the Lex Luger to Tonka heel turn. Yeah. Do you remember that? I remember as a kid, people hate that storyline, but I thought it was so well done that you thought Luger was hanging with the $1 Million Man, and I'm like, oh, Luger's got to be the one. And then it was Tatanka, the dude accusing him was the one who turned heel. It was perfect, and I think we're going the same route now because Rachel's been a little too chill about everything.
Yes.
Great point. Great point. All right. Well, there you go. Sammy. No, that's Will Jack's comment. Tenille says James. Azan says Tenille. James says Jeff with a swerve. Yes. Conrad's facial expressions. Why Good Brothers with Omega? Don't make this like AJ. Jordan Grace will take a hard L. Tenille will take a hard W, says Will Jacks. All right. The main event, which now we all know is not even in the Impact Zone. This will be in the where AEW calls home. So, all right. Well, Moose and Kenny Omega. Now, the things that are playing into this is we all talked about this. We don't know where Moose is going to be. Is Moose staying with Impact? Is that going to have an effect on what this is going to be? Is that the reason why they're in Daly's place, like Jeff and I mentioned earlier? Could there be interference on Kenny's part? Now, no Good Brothers, obviously. No Good Brothers here. But could we see the Young Bucks interfere at some point in this match? Is Kenny walking out with the title? I think so, because I don't think he's going to drop it yet. I think that if he loses that belt, it's going to be at Slammiversary, because that's Impact's big pay-per-view. And if somebody's going to take that belt off of him, it would be on a big spotlight. And, of course, it's the first pay-per-view. They're going to have fans back in the building. So I don't think Kenny's going to lose. How he's going to win it remains to be seen. There could be all kind of ways. Like I said, you could have interference. You could have a swerve. which I'm not going to talk about because I know the other two gentlemen in the chat would like to, because we discussed it offline, and I'll let them tell you what they're thinking with that. But I think Kenny walks away with the title, and I think that he will end up facing Sami Callihan at Slammiversary, and that, I think, will be when Impact gets their belt back, and it will be Sami who brings it back home. Moose, I don't know. Will he stay? Will he go? I'm not really too sure. He is signed somewhere. He's made that clear. But don't know where he's going to be afterwards. So if his future is up in the air and if he really has left Impact, then this will be Moose's last match. And it'll be sad to see him go because he's had a hell of a year. And I'll be sad to see him leave the company. So, all right. Go ahead, Conrad. I'll let you start. What are you thinking?
So before tonight, I swear I had Moose penciled in. I'm like, Moose is winning this title. It's happening. Then we saw the opening segment. Bullshiggity has ensued, and now we are here. And I really feel like Kenny's got to win now. Like, you leave me no choice. But the stuff, I won't ruin it because I'm going to let Jeff – this is your show, guys. So I'm going to let Jeff have the thunder, and we can mess around with all the different scenarios that we were talking about offline, but you have potentially so many different ways this could go. I have one way where you could hype up the fans. I have another way where you could make so many people mad and get heat on both. There's plenty of ways you could do this. So I'm taking Kenny Omega now for the win.
All right, Jeff. Well, there you go. The stage is yours, man.
Man, no pressure. Story time, folks. Let's gather around the campfire real quick. So I think we're going to have a match. I'll say that much. But I don't think it's going to be the way that people think it's going to be, and I think it's going to piss a lot of people off. Because I have Kenny winning, but for very different reasons. We've all heard the stories about how Don Callis is no longer the EVP at Impact. Well, maybe it's because we find out Saturday that he's brokered a deal with Moose because he's always complimenting Moose. He's the best athlete in Impact Wrestling. He's just amazing. He's the greatest, and Sami Callihan is just a piece of crap. He's blacklisted everywhere, all this stuff. So I think we find out that Moose has signed with AEW and that he's going home to his new home. And this will be his introduction into the AEW fold. And I've got Kenny winning. I've got him going up against Sami at Slammiversary. And I think a lot of people are going to absolutely despise Moose and Kenny after this. And I think it's the best possible thing ever. Because when both of them show up on AEW television, they're going to be, you can feel however you want to feel about them. But when it comes to Impact, the hate will be real, and I think it's the best thing for the storyline. Now I got to go back to Conrad because I know he's got stuff to add to it, and I want to know what Joe thinks too because good. Go ahead, guys.
Listen, you could mess around with this and make it even worse. They have a very, very good competitive match back and forth. Kenny finds some way to, screw over Moose, and it's just like, dude, anything I do against these guys, I can't. Could you imagine somebody giving up on themselves in front of all of the fans, like watching, and it's like, you know what? I give up. And Don Callis says, no, Moose, I always respected you. Do you want to join Kenny Omega, the Good Brothers, and the Young Bucks? And they're all standing there like this saying, Moose, you could be the one to join us. And Moose does it and signs a contract on whoever officiates this match. I don't know if it's going to be an Impact ref or whatever, right on their back. The heat this man will,
my God.
that he accompanies Kenny and Don Callis now everywhere they go. That's another fold for Hangman. Now I'm getting into AEW stuff. That's another fold for Hangman to have to overcome and conquer. and you've got a bunch of great stuff lined up for both shows by doing that.
Mm-hmm.
That's just one way I look at it. Joe, what do you think of some of this?
Yeah, man, it's great points from both of you guys. Yeah, dude, James Chadwick just said it would go nuclear. Dude, yeah, the heat on them. I mean, look, Moose really never seemed to give a damn what the fans thought about him. Even when he was, when he was in Impact, he never cared. So why all of a sudden would you think that would change? And if you're going to do this and he's gone anyway, then what better way to do it than to say, you know what? I don't care. I'm doing what I'm doing for me. I don't give a damn about you. You let me go. He could come out on AEW and cut a hell of a promo the following week and say, you guys didn't give a damn about me, so I don't give a damn about you. And I don't care if Kenny has your title because, if I want to, I'll take it off of him whenever I feel like it, and I'll be down here to do it. So, yeah, dude, that's a really great scenario. It would be awesome if that's how it ends up because it just makes a heck of a lot of sense. And James Chadwick said, let it be a finger poke of doom. I mean, I don't think it'll go down exactly like that. I think there will be a legit match. Yeah. But, yeah, I mean, something is just – you can kind of see something's going to happen here. He could also even play off the fact of saying, hey, you wanted this to be – you want your savior to be Sami Callihan. That's who you want to be your savior, and that pisses me off. I think I deserve it, and you're going to give this guy the opportunity. This whole thing tonight, this whole Summit thing, could not be sitting well with Moose in character right now, because Scott D'Amore came out and said, whoever wins this would go up against Sami. It's almost seeming like they're raising Sami up to be the guy that's going to do this. So yeah, I agree with both of you. I think that's a fantastic scenario. It really is.
Could you imagine the BTE segments with the dangly earrings between Moose, the Bucks, and the Good Brothers?
Oh my God.
Moose, welcome to the group, bro. We got some dangly earrings for you. The Impact fans would hate that so much.
Oh my God, yeah. Yes, they would. Yes, they would. And think about it. All this, and you guys in the chat have said this to us week after week when Kenny comes on the show, all you people who cannot stand Kenny Omega, all that's going to do is fire it up even more. I mean, that's going to go from you hating him this much to hating him way up here at that point. So what does that do? When Impact finally does get that belt back, that is going to make whoever takes that belt off him the biggest thing in Impact Wrestling. And people are going to be, whoever that person is, if it is going to be Sami, whoever they have to do that is going to be the biggest, the most celebrated person, the most celebrated athlete in Impact Wrestling after all of that. So do we see Moose tomorrow night on AEW? Says Azan. I don't know. I don't know that they'd want to give that away. So I don't think so. I don't think they'd want to give that away. But yeah, look, either way, guys, I think we're in for an amazing pay-per-view.
I just thought about something else too.
Okay.
This could go the complete other way too. Moose could win and raise the banner for Impact and sign on the dotted line with AEW. Then we get Moose versus Sami at Slammiversary.
Oh, yeah, because he could say, well, you know what? Yeah, I won your belt back, but now look, I'm leaving.
Because Don always believed in me. And Kenny could hand over the belt to him like this. Listen, this is too much for me. I've got Andrade coming for me. I've got all these guys coming for me. The belt collector's doing some charity work. Here you go, man.
There you go. This didn't mean anything to me anyway. I'm going after New Japan now anyway.
Wow, wow, man. Dude, fantasy booking, man. I now we need to see something like this happen.
I would love to be in a creative room. Like, I think me and Jeff and you, we could just get in there and we could just mesh ideas all day for different people and characters, and we're just like, yo, what if we did this? Just what if?
That must be a great job.
Can you imagine that though? you get to the finish line, you're like, yes, we got the title back. And Moose is like, yeah, up yours. I'm signing with AEW.
I could see him doing that.
Yeah,
I could absolutely see him doing that. Think people are going to cheer and stuff like that. And he's like, no, I'm just going right back, and it's coming right back with me. What a tease. Oh, that would be horrible. Oh, my gosh. Well, any way you look at it, it's going to be a fun show on Saturday. And we are going to be right back here for it. I hope you guys all will too. And I hope you all join us on Saturday night for the watch along. Well, like I said, we will start at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So make sure that you're here. And we will be with you till the very end. So they usually go 8 to 11 in most cases with these. So we will be here for that. Obviously, if you guys normally tune in for our show, we will not have that on Saturday, of course, because we will be doing the watch along. So we can't be in two places at once, although sometimes we would like to. And then just a little advertisement as to what we've got coming up after that. Of course, on Sunday, it's NXT TakeOver in Your House. So we will be doing that pay-per-view as well. So that is it, guys. It is almost 11:15. Thank you for coming out and sticking around with us. I know it's late for some of you, James Chadwick, and you guys overseas. It's very late. So, guys, all I can say is I hope we see you all on Saturday for our watch along for Impact Against All Odds. I hope you will come back and join us to watch that and see what transpires and see how well we did with our picks and see how you guys do with yours as well. So, all right, that is all. So from Jeff and, of course, from Conrad and myself, wish you all the best. Have a great rest of your night, a great Friday. Enjoy the wrestling tomorrow. Of course, we have SmackDown tomorrow to see what's going on there. So enjoy that. And hopefully we will see you all on Saturday night at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Time for Against All Odds. Stay safe, everybody. Have a great rest of your night. And hopefully we will see you then. Good night, all.